turn our attention to our favourite senator, Lidia Thorpe. Now, she loves publicity, Lydia, and I think we all fall in for it sometimes, reporting the things she said. But she has labelled the new King Charles a, quote, violent murderer who relishes in the wealth that has been created on the backs of slavery.
Yes.
Do you recognise King Charles as sovereign?
Not at all. I recognise him as an invader, a violent invader. Yes, he wasn't personally responsible, but he certainly relishes in the wealth that has been created on the backs of slavery, on the backs of massacres and murders and stolen children.
Caroline, I suggest Lydia, the senator, might go and buy a history book. She clearly doesn't know her history. I mean, of course, it was the British who actually ended slavery. They sent people to die in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean to stop the slave traders. I mean, why do you think she keeps doing this? Is it just to keep herself in the spotlight?
Oh, yes, absolutely. That would form part of it. And here we are talking about her again and giving her exactly what she wants. But it's also pandering to, she's preaching to her audience, her supporters, who are people who see colonisers as evil and, you know, see Australian history in a very narrow view. They don't take, people like Lidia Thorpe and people who support her don't take that history in all its nuance. They don't look at the enormous benefits that have been since for the Aboriginal populations in terms of health and education outcomes. Obviously, there's a long way to go, and we have a very complicated history and a flawed history, but they don't give any acknowledgement to the huge benefits of British colonisation and civilisation. It's always very one-sided, and in this case, it's not factual, but it definitely plays into everything she's about. And once again, you know, she's a victim in every situation, and here King Charles is this horrific mass murderer, even though obviously he wasn't alive at the time, so go figure.
You just wonder whether the no campaigners in the Voice referendum are all that happy about having Lidia Thorpe on their side. I'm not sure she's doing them any favours.
No, and that's why she wasn't allowed to really be part of the no pamphlet and the no essay, and she's written her own no essay because they don't want to be aligned with her, despite her being very much against the referendum as well, but of course for the completely opposite reason. She thinks it doesn't go far enough. She wants a treaty, she wants reparations, she wants completely different power structure in the country. So they don't want to be associated with her, and I dare say it's not really helping their cause either.
I think it's a failure of our system in a sense that she was elected as a Green senator out of Victoria. Obviously, she's had a run-in with the Greens hierarchy, Adam Banton, and so she now sits as an independent. She wouldn't be in the Senate if she hadn't been attached to the Green movement to get there, but she sits there now for the rest of her term. Basically, a loose cannon can do whatever she wants. I'm not sure our system needs to not have a look at that. If you get elected as a senator, as a member of a party, I just wonder whether if you then choose to leave that party, we should perhaps let that party then choose another senator to replace you.
Look, it's a great question, and no doubt a lot of Greens supporters who aren't on the same page as Lydia would be wanting that to happen, because she doesn't represent what the party she was elected under are about in many respects, including this issue. But it happens in so many different parties, doesn't it? But she said she will retire at the end of her term, so not too many more years of this to go.
Kerry OBrien hasn't been on our ABC TV screens for quite some time. He comes and goes every now and then on the ABC. He said last night, actually back on the ABC, that Australia is, quote, a racist country. Now, that was during a pro-voice talk fest. Those sort of comments from Kerry, I thought Kerry was better than that.
It doesn't help, does it, Steve? You'd think that he would be smarter in the sense that, look at the polling. The support is dropping off a cliff for the referendum, and it's not helped by people using this kind of emotional, moral blackmail to try and get people to vote yes. And in this case, he's branding anyone who is thinking of voting no as a racist and calling the entire country a racist. Now, that worked not well at all for people like Hillary Clinton when she described Trump supporters as deplorables, or in the Brexit vote when Brexiteers were described as racists and xenophobes. It had the opposite effect. It backfires on people, and Australians in particular, I don't think, like being lectured and moralised to. It's disappointing because there's a lot of other points you can make on this topic, but this will be the headline out of that discussion that he's had, that he's calling people racist. So I don't think it does any credit to their campaign.
No, the bottom line is I don't believe Australia is fundamentally a racist country.